3 years into our marriage, a friend sent me a screenshot from a group chat. It was a picture of my wife, Ava, and her male best friend, Leo Carter. They were in a dimly lit room, their faces close, drunk and hazy. Their mouths were inches apart, on the verge of kiss. Worse was the caption underneath. After a long time coming, we're finally making it official. Send us your love. I slammed my phone on the table. Leo was pushing it, chipping away at my dignity as a man, one post at a time. I glanced at the clock on the wall. It was already past 1 in the morning. Looked like Ava was going to have another late night. This Leo character had been a fixture in her life forever. They were childhood friends, grew up on the same block. When Ava and I started dating in college, she told me all about him. Just a boy next door, right? Every girl has a crush growing up. I didn't think much of it. I figured if I loved her with everything I had, she'd never have a reason to look elsewhere. But the night before our wedding, I started to realize I'd been naive. My bride-to-be went missing. I called all her mutual friends from college, every single one, but nobody had seen her. I was panicking when a notification popped up on my phone. It was an Instagram post from Leo. A picture of 2 hands, fingers intertwined. On the woman's ring finger was the diamond ring I'd given her. The caption was a real piece of work. She told me, "If I can't have you forever, I'll take every moment I can get," flaunting their connection with another man, and she was wearing my ring to do it. I lost it. I called him, screaming, demanding he bring Ava back immediately. When she finally returned, she told me her childhood friends had thrown her a surprise bachelorette party. She claimed they had ganged up on Leo while she was in the bathroom, daring him to make that post. She swore she knew nothing about it. Then she had the nerve to call me petty, telling me they'd grown up together, that they were so close they could be naked in the same room, and he wouldn't even get hard. Thinking back on the 4 sweet years we'd shared in college, I chose to believe her. Little did I know, that was just the beginning. After we got married, we never truly had a life of our own. It was almost always the 3 of us. Even when Ava and I were in our bedroom at night, we couldn't escape the constant stream of texts from Leo lighting up her phone. When Ava was with him, she was all laughs and smiles. She'd playfully jump on his back, and he'd carry her around without a second thought, completely ignoring my presence or what anyone else might think. As I sat there, lost in 3 years of these memories, a hand waved in front of my face. It was Ava. She was home. Good for her, I thought sarcastically. It's only 3 a.m. She reeked of alcohol. Her clothes were a mess. Must have been a wild night. "What? Are you mad?" she slurred, a playful pout on her face. "It was Jake's birthday. Leo insisted I go." "I'm not mad," I said, my voice flat. "I'm just glad you're home safe." I wasn't mad. Not anymore. I'd spent the last 3 years being mad, and I was all out of it. "You're so petty," she cooed, trying to placate me. "I'll take you to the mall tomorrow. We'll get you a new watch. You've had that old one for years." She always did this. Threw me a bone whenever she saw I was upset. The next day at the mall, she was half-heartedly browsing watches for me when her phone buzzed. She glanced at the screen, and a smirk spread across her face. She tried to stifle it, probably remembering I was standing right there, which just made it more awkward. A moment later, her phone rang. She shot a look at me, saw I was still examining the display case, and walked away as she answered. "I'm at the mall," I heard her say, her voice low. "I just saw a watch that would look perfect on you. Let me buy it for you." I didn't have to guess who was on the other end. Maybe it was time to finally end this marriage. "We haven't had dinner, just the 2 of us, in so long," I said to her after we got home. I'd spent the whole night thinking about it. 7 years together wasn't something you could just throw away. "Remember that place we went on our first date after I moved to the city? Let's go there tonight." "Okay, I heard you. Now you should get going or you'll be late for work," she said, her eyes glued to her phone, her tone dismissive. Seeing that she had no interest in talking, I left, feeling deflated. They say what you lose in love, you gain in your career. It was true for me. While my marriage was a mess, my professional life was thriving. In just a few years, I'd climbed the ladder to department manager. I made more than enough money for Ava to be a stay-at-home wife. And what did I get for it? Indifference. Being treated like I was optional. "Tonight is your last chance," I thought, looking at her still engrossed in her phone. Being a manager has its perks. I left work early to get to the restaurant ahead of time, even stopping to buy a bouquet of flowers on the way. I picked a table by the window and watched the couple strolling down the street, waiting for my wife. Just as my patience wore thin and I was about to call her, I saw her arrive. Or rather, I saw them arrive. She was with Leo, laughing and talking. They walked up to the restaurant together. In that moment, I knew I'd been a fool all along. I stood up, walked to the nearest trash can, and threw the flowers inside. Then I sent a quick text message and returned to my seat. When Ava walked in and saw me already sitting there, she looked genuinely surprised. She awkwardly pulled her arm from Leo's. Honey, you're so early, she said, flustered. I ran into Leo on the way here, so we just came together. You don't mind, do you? I just shrugged, putting on an air of indifference. Ava bought me a new watch, Leo announced, making a point to flash the timepiece on his wrist as if to taunt me. To thank her, dinner's on me. It was the same brand as the one I wore. Ran into him on the way, my ass. They went to the mall together. Leo pulled out a chair for Ava, then plopped down right next to her, leaving me sitting across from them. I was the third wheel of my own dinner, and Ava, my wife, didn't seem to think anything was wrong with it. She acted like this was perfectly normal. Order whatever you want, Leo said, pushing a menu toward me. I waved it away. I'm good with whatever. Ava snatched the menu. Leo's treating tonight, so we can't let him off easy. Let's get the most expensive things. She and Leo then huddled together, sharing one menu as they ordered. My Ava loves the steak, Leo said, cutting off a large piece and putting it on her plate. Here, have a big one. Leo, you know I'm on a diet, she protested playfully. You have it. Watching them pass a piece of steak back and forth, I didn't feel anger anymore. I just felt sick. Then, the person I was waiting for arrived. Lily, over here. Lily was a new hire in my department, less than a year on the job. She was elegant and poised, with a quiet beauty. Tonight, she wore a simple dress and light makeup. Her long, dark hair was pulled back in a high ponytail, accentuating her swan-like neck. Ethan, so nice of you to invite me to dinner, she said cheerfully. She looked at Ava. This must be your wife. She's absolutely gorgeous. Before Ava could respond, Lily slid into the seat right beside me. What could I do? It was a four-person table. They took one side, so we had to take the other. The moment Lily sat down, Ava's demeanor changed completely. The smiling, laughing woman who had been flirting with Leo was gone, replaced by someone whose eyes could have started a fire. Ethan Hayes, I'm thirsty. Give me some water, she commanded, trying to assert her dominance. Whatever. I got up, took the pitcher, and poured her a glass. On my way back, I filled Lily's glass too. You know, Mrs. Hayes, Lily said with a bright smile, Ethan is a true gentleman at the office. He's an amazing boss, so dedicated, and always willing to help everyone out. We all really look up to him. Is she talking about me? I could feel myself blushing. Oh, don't let our Ethan fool you. Ava shot back, laying it on thick. He's just a people pleaser. He's nice to everyone. Our Ethan? Weren't you in Leo the wee just a minute ago? Well, you're amazing too. Lily said, her voice still sweet. You're so beautiful and gracious. And that gentleman next to you, his eyes haven't left you all night. That's my girl. A direct hit. I secretly gave Lily a thumbs up under the table. Lily's comment left Ava speechless, her face flushing red then pale. As you can imagine, the rest of the dinner was an awkward disaster. Lily was the first to leave. Ethan, I'm heading out. See you at work tomorrow. Bye. She was gone in a flash, no hesitation. Leo offered to give us a ride home. Ava grabbed my arm. You can go. My husband drove. We'll go home together. I dangled my car keys and gestured for him to go ahead. The second Leo was out of sight, Ava exploded. What's the deal with you and that Lily girl? Why was she here tonight? Look who's talking. I laughed coldly to myself. We're just colleagues. You brought Leo, didn't you? Leo and I grew up together. It's not the same thing. So you can have a big brother, but I can't have a little sister? I fire back. When you're with your big brother, have you ever, for 1 second, cared about how I feel? We're both men. I know exactly what he's thinking. It's shameless, I spat. You're a married woman. A wife. Have some damn self-respect. My outburst left Ava speechless. Seeing me get in the car to leave, she scrambled after me and got in. Her face was pale, her lips pressed into a thin line. She was silent the entire ride home. The moment I parked the car in our spot, she threw her arms around me, sobbing. Honey, I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. I'll stop hanging out with Leo. We can make this work, okay? Please. Faced with her tear-streaked face, I felt my resolve crumble. The hardness in my heart softened. I went inside and burned the divorce papers I drafted. I was still a soft touch, especially when it came to Ava. I prayed I wasn't making a mistake. For a while after that, Ava kept her promise. She stayed home, rarely going out. When Leo called, she was polite but brief. She even started showing me their text conversations. Her efforts made me feel almost guilty, like maybe it had been too hard on her. But a fox will always show its tail. Just when I thought our life had settled into a peaceful, happy routine, she shattered the illusion with a single sentence. Honey, Leo's birthday is next week. He invited me to his party. Oh, really? Did he just invite you? Or did he ask me to come along? Oh, come on. It's just going to be his childhood friends, the old neighborhood crew. What would you do there? She said dismissively. Seeing my silence, she added, Look, don't be mad. I promise I'll be home before 10. She thought I was angry. She was wrong. I was thinking that I still hadn't properly thanked Lily for helping me out. With Ava out of the house, it would be the perfect opportunity to take her to dinner. Life has a funny way of working out. So perfectly orchestrated you'd think someone designed it. On the day of the party, Ava was busy with her makeup and picking out the perfect outfit. When I figured it was about time, I started getting dressed to go out myself. Honey, it's the weekend. Where are you going? She asked. I'm meeting a friend for dinner. Might be back late. If you get home first, just go to bed, I replied coolly. Hearing that I had plans and would be home late, her hand, which was applying lipstick, trembled slightly, smearing a red streak across her cheek. She looked like a clown. I've never been much of a talker. At dinner with Lily, I mostly just listened. For every 10 things she said, I might manage one. When she went to the restroom, I finally had a moment of peace. I stepped outside and lit a cigarette. When Lily came back, her expression was dark, as if she'd seen something she shouldn't have. I followed her gaze toward the private dining rooms at the back of the restaurant. Curious about what could wipe the cheerful smile off her face, I stood up and walked over. Before I even reached the room, I could hear a raucous crowd chanting from inside. Kiss, kiss, kiss. I peered through the crack in the door. There, at the head of the table, were Ava and Leo, half embracing. Egged on by the crowd, they were leaning in about to kiss. I kicked the door open. The room went silent. Everyone stared at me, frozen. Ava and Leo's hands were still clasped together. I strode over to Leo and smashed my fist into his smug face. Ethan, man, there must be a misunderstanding. Don't do anything crazy, someone yelled. I hated his calm, dismissive attitude, as if the woman he was holding wasn't somebody else's wife. I didn't wait for him to finish. I just started swinging again and again. You know she's married, right? She's a married woman. What kind of grown man pretends to be a best friend? You're an outsider, constantly messing around with my wife, and you act so innocent. You think I don't know what you're after? I'm a man, too. I know. With every punch, I let out all the resentment I had bottled up over the years. I didn't stop until he was lying motionless on the floor, and the others finally pulled me off him. Ethan, what are you doing? Ava shrieked, seeing Leo on the ground. She immediately started berating me. You saw for yourself, there are a ton of people here. What could possibly happen? I looked at her, my voice cold as ice. Ava, you are my wife, and I have every right to beat the hell out of a man who is trying to steal my wife. Don't give me that bullshit excuse about growing up together. Even if you were your actual brother, I'd still knock him out for this. Tomorrow, we're getting a divorce. After that, you can do whatever you want. I won't give a damn. With that, I slammed the door and left. Back at my table, I flexed my bruised knuckles at Lily. Now that feels good. I've been wanting to do that to him for a long, long time. After the beating I gave Leo at the restaurant, he must have felt guilty because he never called the cops. Ava went to stay with her parents. She called me a few times, but I didn't answer. I'd already hired a lawyer and had divorce papers sent to her. If she had something to say, she could say it to him. Just 2 weeks later, I got a call from Ava's mother. Ethan, it's me. Ava's in the hospital. She won't eat anything. Can you find some time to come see her? Great. Now that she's in trouble, she remembers me. Where was this concern before? I'm sorry, I said bluntly. You know what's happened between Ava and me. I won't be coming. Let her best friend go. What was the point of me showing up? He'd probably be there anyway. Why would I put myself through that? Ethan, please. Ava has cut off all contact with Leo, I swear. Just come see her. Yeah, right? Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. I'd already been burned. Why would I believe her now? You need to come, Ethan, she said, her voice dropping. Ava, she's pregnant. About 2 months along. Pregnant? 2 months? That would mean she got pregnant that short time we were back together. You should eat something, I said, walking into the hospital room. Forget about the stuff with Leo for now. You need to eat. I had a million reasons not to be there, but as the father of her child, I felt I had to go. It was a man's responsibility. Honey, I know I was wrong. Please forgive me just this once. We can be good from now on, she pleaded, her face stained with tears. Looking at her, I felt nothing but disgust. I swear, honey, I will never speak to Leo again. You have to believe me. Watching her solemn declaration, I knew it was just another empty promise. But the child was innocent. I decided that after the baby was born, we would leave this city, move somewhere new, and start over. I began making plans to transfer to another city for work, which meant more business trips. I didn't feel comfortable leaving my pregnant wife alone, so I arranged for her to stay with her mother. At first, we video chatted every day. Seeing her belly grow, I was filled with the excitement and joy of becoming a father. But the happy times didn't last. The calls became less frequent, the conversations shorter. Until one day, A call from my mother-in-law shattered everything. "Ethan, it's all my fault. Please don't blame Ava," she sobbed into the phone. "Ava, she had a miscarriage." The news hit me like a ton of bricks. I was completely stunned. A miscarriage? How? We had just talked 2 days ago. Everything was fine. How could this happen? It's all Leo's fault. That bastard. If it wasn't for him, our Ava would never have lost the baby. My mother-in-law seethed, her grief turning into rage. Leo again. Was he some kind of curse on my life? I rushed to the hospital. Ava looked pale and fragile. It was clear she was devastated by the loss. Between her and her mother's fragmented explanations, I pieced together what happened. After her last promise, Ava had indeed kept her distance from Leo, turning down several invitations to parties. But when a mutual childhood friend came back from overseas, she couldn't resist the temptation and agreed to go to one more gathering. It was at that party that Ava accidentally fell down a flight of stairs, causing the miscarriage. I put accidentally in quotes because Ava claimed that Leo had deliberately pushed her. Why would he do that? If you can't have her or destroy her? Of course, I wasn't just going to take her word for it. I went to the hotel where the party was held, and threatening them with a lawsuit since my wife was injured on the property, I got them to show me the security footage. In the video, Leo was surrounded by a crowd, so you couldn't see if he actually laid a hand on her. But just before Ava fell, you could see Leo's shoulder twitch. It was possible, but it didn't matter anymore. All that mattered was my unborn child, who would now never see the world. Ava had broken her promise to me one last time. If she got some sick satisfaction from watching 2 men fight over her, from feeding her vanity, then I was done playing. I waited until Ava was discharged from the hospital. Then I took the divorce papers to her parents' house myself. As luck would have it, Leo was there too. I had nothing left to lose. In front of him and Ava's entire family, I slapped the papers down on the coffee table. "Ava, I am done with your lies. This time, they cost me my child. Let's just end this without any more drama. Sign the papers." Ava stared at me for a moment, then burst into tears. "Ethan, I know I was wrong this time. I shouldn't have gone to that party. Please, just forgive me one more time." "Ava, it was an accident. It's not your fault," Leo actually had the audacity to say. "Ethan will forgive you." I kicked him so hard he fell off the couch. Then I pounced on him, my fists flying in his face like they were free. "It wasn't your wife who fell. It wasn't your child who died," I screamed, punching him over and over. "You bastard. If it wasn't for you, would we have ended up like this? You goddamn bastard." I was a man possessed, pummeling Leo's still healing face. "Male best friend. Screw your male best friend. This is for all the male best friends." The more I hit him, the more fury I felt, channeling years of humiliation and rage into my fists, smashing them into his face again and again. It wasn't until Ava's family finally pulled me off him that my head cleared. Thinking of my unborn child, I collapsed onto the floor and broke down, sobbing. "Ethan, don't be so sad," my mother-in-law said softly. "You and Ava are still young. You can always have more children." More children? There would be no more children for us. No more us. Ava refused to sign the divorce papers. She called me relentlessly. When I wouldn't pick up, she sent friends to try and talk to me. What was the point? Once betrayed, always betrayed. The relationship between Ava's family and Leo's completely soured. Ava's mother went over to their house several times, screaming and breaking things, accusing Leo of causing the miscarriage. Ava even sent me pictures of the damage, telling me she had cut ties with him for good and begging me to take her back. My response was simple: go to hell. Eventually, we divorced. Even though Ava had barely worked since we got married, I still agreed to give her half of our savings. The house was bought in full by my parents before the marriage, so she had no claim to it. After I told her where to go, it was like Ava vanished off the face of the earth, and for the first time in years, I had some peace. My relationship with Lily evolved from colleagues to friends, and then, gradually, from friends to lovers. The biggest difference between Lily and Ava was that Lily didn't have a messy collection of male friends. No best friends, no boys next door. That's all just a load of crap. Can a man and a woman ever have a purely platonic friendship? Even if they can, if one of them is married, shouldn't they respect their partner's feelings? The same, of course, holds true if the roles are reversed. Just as my life was getting back on track, a message from Ava sent a ripple through my newfound calm. "Ethan, I pushed Leo off a cliff. Ha ha. The obstacle between us is finally gone. We can be together again, right? We can start over, please." It was followed by a long string of sobbing sounds typed out. At first, I thought it was some sick prank, but a call from her mother confirmed it. Ava had suffered a complete mental breakdown. After our divorce, Ava's mental state had slowly deteriorated. She had gone to Leo's house multiple times, causing scenes and demanding he compensate her for her lost husband and child. On one occasion, she even tried to set his house on fire. If it hadn't been extinguished quickly, people could have died. Her mother had no choice but to have her committed to a psychiatric hospital. That was why I hadn't heard from her in so long. After treatment, Ava was deemed stable enough to be released. Once home, she asked Leo to go hiking with her, claiming that getting out into nature would be good for her recovery. For reasons I'll never understand, he actually agreed. The result was that Leo died on that mountain, and Ava was sent back to the institution. Ava's mother called, asking if I would go see her. I refused on the spot. Some might call me cruel, but I was in a relationship with Lily now. I didn't want her to think I was still entangled with my ex-wife. Ava thought that by having two men fight over her, she could have double the love. But all she did was destroy the person who truly loved her. In the end, it's a lesson that applies to anyone, man or woman.